The Minecraft movie is cringe. I'm recording this a few days before the movie even comes out, but I already know it to be true. Or rather, the internet has already decided it's true from the first moment the trailer dropped. Within hours, it became a meme, a joke, a trending punchline drenched in irony. It was cringe, if you will. And to be frank, why shouldn't we make fun of this movie? I know it hasn't come out yet, but based on the trailers, it looks to be just another soulless corporate cash grab based on a beloved IP with seemingly little understanding of why the source material worked in the first place. It's yet another video game adaptation where big-name actors are awkwardly plopped into an ugly CGI world, where the protagonists tell unfunny, quippy jokes at each other, and the whole thing just feels less like a movie and more like a marketing exercise. No doubt, all the memes and the mockery, at least in part, are a natural reaction from fans of the Minecraft video game, a kind of defense mechanism from millions who feel like they deserve better, who feel like the thing they grew up loving is being commodified and flattened into something formulaic and hollow. They see another Sonic, another Super Mario, and Minecraft is so beloved to the current young generation, so foundational to their childhood, that the disappointment stings extra hard. So people react. Ironically, ruthlessly, sometimes viciously, turning the trailer into a punchline before the movie even premieres. And yet, millions of people will see this movie. Some will probably hate it. Many will probably ironically love it in the same way the internet has ironically latched onto I Am Steve or Chicken Jockey or old Minecraft parody YouTube videos. And some, whether they admit it or not, will probably secretly actually kind of enjoy it. See, this video isn't a review. This isn't going to be a takedown of the Minecraft movie. As I've already stated, it's not even out yet. This is an investigation into how cringe culture has shaped the way we consume media, and how the Minecraft movie has become a case study into something much bigger and much sadder, a generation's growing fear of being sincere. Because what's actually happening here isn't just a flood of ironic memes and bad trailers, it's a cultural feedback loop. A system where shame has become the dominant form of engagement, where everything we love has to be filtered through layers of sarcasm and detachment, and corporations have learned to weaponize that detachment to sell us things. But the most fascinating part to me, and frankly what's saddest about all of this, is what it says about the young people. The kids, teenagers, and young adults who grew up with Minecraft as a sincere, joyful space of creativity and play, but who now find themselves unable to engage with it or with anything without 1,000 layers of irony to protect them. So strap in, because today we're talking cringe. We're talking about irony. We're talking about the paradox of a generation that wants to love things but feels like they can't. About how we've all learned to live in a world where sincere self-expression feels like a risk. And what better place to start than I'm fully aware of how hyperbolic and cringe this is about to sound, but for many, Minecraft isn't just a video game. It's a cultural landmark, a language, a memory, a shared experience of what it was like to grow up online. Okay, so real talk. At the after party of my high school prom, there was a group of like 7 guys all huddled around a single iPhone, all watching Minecraft porn as a joke. That kind of influence deserves some explanation. Before all that, Minecraft began very humbly in 2009. It was developed almost single-handedly by Marcus Persson, better known as Notch, as a scrappy indie experiment. It was a simple premise: mine resources, craft tools, build whatever you want, and survive the night. There was no plot, No real objectives, no flashy graphics. It wasn't sleek or polished, but it was open-ended, endlessly replayable, and creative in a way that no other game at the time was. And it didn't take long for that simplicity to catch fire. By 2010, Minecraft was everywhere, not because of some massive marketing push, but because of one thing above all else: YouTube. See, the game was practically built for content creation. The emergent, unscripted, endlessly creative gameplay made it perfect for tutorials, challenge videos, roleplay servers, machinima, and parodies. The game's rise was inseparable from the early explosion of YouTube gaming content. Minecraft practically invented the Let's Play genre, something that would later evolve into a multi-billion-dollar industry with websites like Twitch. And it wasn't just YouTube. Minecraft content flourished on forums, fan art sites, Twitter, Tumblr, DeviantArt, and eventually TikTok. Minecraft wasn't a product, it was a platform, a canvas, a widely recognizable and, for many, comforting space of pure, unapologetic creativity. Kids could build anything: worlds, cities, stories. They could collaborate, make videos, create memes, write songs, make friends. It became a new kind of social space, the digital equivalent of kids playing together on the playground, but scaled up to millions. So that's what I mean when I say that for Gen Z and Gen Alpha, Minecraft wasn't just a game, it was the game, the backdrop of many of their digital childhoods, the soundtrack of their early internet years. I think there's something really beautiful about the fact that kids at the time had such a pure space for unadulterated creativity, joy, and community. Microsoft acquired Mojang, the studio behind Minecraft, in 2014 for $2.5 billion, so it's clear that by that point the game was no longer only an underground phenomenon. It was, by many metrics, the biggest game in the world. It had become a generational cornerstone. If you grew up in the 2010s, you probably played Minecraft, or watched Minecraft, or at the very least knew someone who did. But something changed. As Minecraft exploded into the biggest game in the world, as millions of players built, crafted, and shared their blocky creations, the internet itself was evolving, and with it, the culture around Minecraft began to shift. By the mid to late 2010s, Minecraft kids had become a meme, a shorthand for being annoying, obsessive, and juvenile. Minecraft parodies, once beloved, were recontextualized as cringe content. Songs like Revenge, a Minecraft parody of Usher's DJ Got Us Fallen in Love music video, which had racked up millions of views, quickly begun being passed around ironically, shared and laughed at as relics of a more awkward, embarrassing, and dare I say earnest phase of internet culture. And because the Minecraft fandom was so deeply tied to the early years of YouTube and to the rise of social media, there was no escaping it. People's Minecraft usernames, their old Let's Play videos, their childhood comments and memes, it was all still there, archived, searchable, part of the permanent digital record. For many, looking back at their own Minecraft era became a source of embarrassment. They could scroll through their old content, see the songs they once loved, the servers they built, the fan art they made, and cringe at themselves. This wasn't just a Minecraft problem, but I do think Minecraft was one of the first fandoms to experience what it was like to grow up online, to have their unfiltered childhood joy, creativity, and awkwardness publicly documented and later weaponized as cringe content, to face the cycle of earnest childhood enthusiasm to public online documentation to ironic, detached cringe engagement. And yet, here's the paradox. I just told you that Minecraft never died. In spite of this very obvious cultural shift, it didn't fade away like some other childhood obsessions. In fact, it only got bigger. Minecraft-related videos on YouTube have over 1 trillion views. As of 2023, Minecraft has sold over 300 million copies worldwide, making it the best-selling game of all time. For comparison, Grand Theft Auto V has sold about 200 million copies, Wii Sports about 80 million, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe about 70 million. So it's clear that Minecraft's cultural dominance never disappeared. Why? Well, lots of reasons. I think maybe chief among them is that a new generation of players joined the old. The game kept growing, evolving, and thriving on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. It became a bridge for multiple generations of internet users. But the game also stayed relevant in part due to the way that people talked about it. The discourse, especially by older fans, remained shaped by nostalgia, irony, and a lingering sense of embarrassment. For many, Minecraft was both a genuine source of joy and a reminder of their most cringeworthy, awkward digital pasts. If you go to the comments on these videos, you won't necessarily see people bashing them. In fact, you'll see lots of yearning for the good old days when they were kids and enjoyed this type of simple, honestly very wholesome content. But so much of their comments are just dripping with a tremendous sense of irony, embellishment, and embarrassment. That's the tension at the heart of Minecraft's cultural presence today. It's the most beloved, enduring game of its generation, but it's also something that people learn to mock themselves for loving. I do think it's worth noting that by this point, the year 2025, Minecraft has sort of looped back around to being cool to like again, I guess excluding the movie. And people my age anyway aren't really ashamed to admit that they once enjoyed a kid's game, or even still enjoy just hopping on a server with friends. But I think that a lot of people who are familiar with Minecraft's online influence are also well aware of how cringe culture evolved with it. Now, this isn't a video about Minecraft's history of cringe and how that actually has allowed it to grow into the cultural behemoth it is today, but it is the first example we'll see of this enduring cringe culture and attack on sincerity we see in social media. And it's also important context for how people are currently discussing the Minecraft movie. See, a Minecraft movie was inevitable. After the game's astronomical rise and acquisition by Microsoft, it was only a matter of time before Hollywood decided that it wanted to cash in. Indeed, in 2014, the movie was officially announced, with promises of a massive, family-friendly blockbuster adaptation of the world's most popular game. But almost immediately, the project became plagued by corporate indecision and developmental hell, as over the next decade, the movie was passed from director to director, vision to vision. Sean Levy of Night at the Museum was initially attached but left after creative differences with producers. Rob McElhenney of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fame took over in 2015, envisioning a Goonies-style adventure about a young girl leading a rebellion against the Ender Dragon, but that version, unfortunately, also fell apart. The release date was delayed multiple times from 2019 to 2022 to now 2025. The plot was rewritten, restructured, restarted. If you know anything about film releases, all of this is a major red flag about the quality of film that was being produced. Each version of the movie seemed less interested in Minecraft's creative spirit and more concerned with how to package the brand into a recognizable, marketable Hollywood product. But eventually the movie did get made, and when the first trailer for the Minecraft movie finally dropped, the result was exactly what many longtime fans feared, but honestly probably expected. A formulaic, awkward, live-action CGI hybrid monstrosity filled to the brim with familiar big-name actors sloppily inserted into an uncanny digital world where they tell lame, quippy jokes at each other amidst a story that feels generic and disconnected from the open-ended, player-driven creativity and curiosity that made Minecraft special in the first place. The reaction to this was immediate and predictably ironic. Within hours, the trailer became a meme, a trending joke, an easy target for ridicule. It wasn't just that the movie looked bad, it felt like the commodification of something deeply personal and nostalgic. For many, it felt like watching a piece of their childhood get filtered through the cold machinery of corporate media, repackaged into something safe, formulaic, and, yes, cringe. And yet, people kept talking about it, kept making memes about it, kept ironically hyping it up. That's because the Minecraft movie isn't just another bad video game adaptation. It's a mirror held up to how internet culture, corporate media, and cringe have become entangled, and how an entire generation has learned to navigate that entanglement through layers of irony and self-defense. So let's stop beating around the bush. What exactly is cringe culture? The term cringe originally refers to a physical reaction, to shrink away, flinch, or recoil from discomfort, embarrassment, or secondhand shame. In internet culture, the meaning evolved into something more specific, a label for content or behavior that provokes secondhand embarrassment because it is awkward, overly earnest, socially unaware, or simply trying too hard. See, cringe isn't just something bad, it's something uncomfortable to watch, because someone is putting themselves out there sincerely and failing. The discomfort comes not just from their failure alone, but from the social vulnerability of it. The word cringe as internet slang started gaining traction in the late 2000s and early 2010s as it emerged alongside and helped to amplify the rise of YouTube, Vine, and meme culture, where for the first time, people's awkward, embarrassing, and overly earnest behavior could be clipped, shared, and publicly ridiculed on a mass scale. I guess if you don't count America's Funniest Home Videos. One of the earliest recognizable formats of cringe content was the cringe compilation. These were YouTube videos, sometimes tens of minutes long, that stitched together the cringiest content the uploader could find. Uncomfortably awkward interviews, cringy fan videos, fandom meltdowns, public displays of enthusiasm that felt socially unaware. The point wasn't to analyze or empathize with these people. Obviously, it was to laugh at them, to recoil at how embarrassing it was to try so hard, care so much, be so obliviously sincere. Cringe content became a genre, and more importantly, it became a cultural feedback loop. The more people laughed at cringe compilations, the more they learned to avoid doing anything that might risk being included in one. By the mid-2010s, cringe wasn't just a descriptor, it was a form of social policing. Calling something cringe became a way to shut down earnestness, vulnerability, and emotional expression before it even had a chance to breathe. You didn't want to be cringe. You didn't want to be the person who cared too much, tried too hard, or posted something sincere only to have it screen recorded and mocked. And so entire generations, in particular I'm talking Gen Z and Gen Alpha, who grew up during the peak of this online dynamic, learned to live in a constant state of ironic detachment. Better to make fun of yourself before someone else does. Better to laugh at what you love than risk looking like you love it too much. Part of what makes cringe culture so insidious is that it doesn't just mock individual videos or people, it also teaches an entire audience that sincerity is embarrassing, that trying, caring, or being emotionally open is something to be ashamed or fearful of. This is the emotional ecosystem that gives rise to how people are talking about the Minecraft movie today. The trailer dropped, and the first instinct wasn't to hope or engage sincerely with it, or just ignore it because it looked bad. It was to preemptively, mostly deservedly, dunk on it and ironically meme it. When that trailer dropped, something was immediately clear. This wasn't a creative passion project, it was a corporate product. A piece of media algorithmically designed to capitalize on Minecraft's cultural footprint with little regard for what actually made the game meaningful in the first place. This is the now standard formula for modern IP cinema. Take something beloved, flatten it, cast familiar faces, drown it in visual effects, and build a promotional strategy around recognizable nostalgia. But what's interesting is how studios behind projects like the Minecraft movie have learned to turn cringe itself into part of the marketing strategy. They know how the internet works. They know that bad jokes, awkward trailers, and forced celebrity casting get people talking, even if they're talking about how terrible it looks. They know that mockery, memes, and ironic engagement are still engagement. And they know that millions of people, even if they roll their eyes now, will still buy tickets because they want to be part of the conversation, or they want to see if it's really as bad as everyone says, or because there's something perversely enjoyable about consuming corporate cringe together. In this media ecosystem, quality is irrelevant. What matters is visibility, discourse, and memeability. The Minecraft movie is far from the first film to weaponize cringe in this way. We all remember the infamous Mario movie cast announcement, and who could forget the viral #GentleMinions trend, where teenagers ironically dressed in suits to attend screenings of the film Minions: The Rise of Gru, treating the movie as a kind of absurd cultural event. Universal leaned into the meme, promoting and celebrating the very ironic, mocking behavior that technically made fun of their movie, and people, likely far more people than would have gone otherwise, lined up to see the movie with their buddies, all while studio execs lined their pockets with their money. You really got them there, didn't you, kids? The playbook is very simple. Create something easily mockable, overly familiar, and awkwardly commercial. Let the internet do your marketing for you by turning the cringe into content, and profit, because engagement, even negative engagement, sells. This isn't accidental. Studios understand that in a hyper-online, irony-saturated media landscape, the easiest way to generate attention isn't by making something good, it's by making something easy to talk about. And cringe is very easy to talk about. It's easily memeable, easily shared, easily digested. It invites a specific kind of engagement that requires no vulnerability because there's no risk of sincerity. You can participate in the cultural event without caring, or at least without having to admit that you care. In this way, the Minecraft movie is corporate cringe by design. A product created not just to appeal to Minecraft fans, but to exploit their complicated relationship with their own nostalgia, and to turn that relationship into profitable content. There's a lot more that could be said about corporate marketing's role in all of this, but what I actually find most fascinating and saddest is how younger audiences have adapted. How entire generations raised on social media have learned to engage with content through layers of irony and shame, not because they don't care, but because they're afraid to show that they do. Let's start to unpack what all of this, the memes, the mockery, the Minecraft movie, is really pointing toward, because it's not just about one bad movie or even about cringe. It's about something bigger, more foundational to how younger generations have grown up online. It's about the death of sincerity. For Gen Z and Gen Alpha, the kids who grew up playing Minecraft, watching Minecraft YouTubers, singing Minecraft parodies, the internet was never a neutral space. It was, from the start, a place of performance, visibility, and therefore judgment. The moment they posted something online, whether it was a Minecraft video, a fan song, a piece of art, or even just a comment on a YouTube video, it became part of the public record, subject to likes, comments, ridicule, reposts, memes, and the brutal efficiency of social media algorithms. Every time they saw a meme of an overly enthusiastic fan online, it reinforced the idea that that could happen to them, so best not to express their enthusiasm too earnestly. This is something that I think makes their experience fundamentally different from previous generations. Kids in the 80s and 90s and even early 2000s could be nerdy, obsessive, and awkward with their interests because it only lived in private spaces, in their bedrooms, in schools, in their friend groups. It's not that kids back then weren't bullied or mocked, they definitely were. It just didn't have the possibility of happening on a global scale. For today's young people, every phase of fandom, every expression of joy, every embarrassing childhood post is permanently archived. They grow up knowing that anything they love too openly can be used against them. So they learned instinctively to protect themselves and their self-image. They learned that the safest way to participate in culture was through layers of irony, detachment, and self-mockery, to preemptively cringe at themselves before anyone else could. This is the paradox at the heart of contemporary internet culture. Young people want to love things. They want to participate in fandoms, to celebrate what matters to them, to feel part of a community. It's never been easier to participate in a community. But at the same time, they've learned through years of cringe compilations, public callouts, and algorithmically favored ridicule that to love something openly is dangerous, that enthusiasm and earnestness is embarrassing. So instead, they laugh and are invited to laugh, for example, by big Hollywood studios at the things they love. They participate in media culture ironically, sarcastically, with disclaimers and distance. They go see the Minions movie and the Minecraft movie, not because they expect to enjoy it, but because it's funny to hate watch it. They can tell their friends how cool and mature they are because the stupid idiot baby movie is cringe, and they know it. The cost of this cultural condition is difficult to quantify but easy to feel. It's a sort of quiet background sadness. A generation raised inside an internet machine that made them deeply insecure, deeply self-aware, and quietly ashamed of the things they care about. A world where every act of enthusiasm requires a wink, a meme, a layer of irony to make it socially acceptable. That's why the Minecraft movie matters. Not because of its quality or lack thereof, but because of what it reveals about the emotional state of its audience. It's a generation that's had reinforced over time that it's better to cringe at yourself than risk being sincere and having others cringe at your expense. So what happens when irony becomes the primary way to engage with culture? When sincerity itself feels dangerous, embarrassing, or impossible? The answer to that question is not simple, but what I'll try to argue is that when sincerity feels impossible, when earnestness is ridiculed, and when every cultural product is filtered through irony and mockery, something else dies alongside it: empathy. To understand how we get here, it's worth tracing the chain of conditions that get us to this point. As we've seen, cringe culture emerges from a collective discomfort with vulnerability. It teaches people to laugh at others' sincerity, to treat emotional openness as naive, awkward, and embarrassing. Over time, this doesn't just shape how we treat content, it teaches people to preemptively distance themselves from their own sincerity. Because the lesson is clear: if you care too much, you will be mocked. This is the death of sincerity, a cultural condition where the risk of being seen as vulnerable outweighs the value of emotional honesty. But sincerity doesn't disappear without leaving a void. In its place, irony becomes the default posture. Not irony as a tool for humor or critique, but irony as a way of being, a defense mechanism. Irony allows people to keep participating in culture without ever exposing themselves to ridicule, to preemptively mock the things they love, to remain emotionally insulated, untouched, uncringeable. But this habitual irony has a cost. When everything you say is wrapped in sarcasm, every feeling filtered through a joke, something else starts to slip away: the ability to feel at all. See, irony is a kind of emotional armor. It protects against shame, but it also muffles genuine feeling. It creates a condition of emotional detachment, a state where you are always performing, always keeping yourself at arm's length from what you actually feel. And so detachment becomes the norm. And too much emotional detachment and dehumanization means you begin to lose the capacity for empathy. You become numb, not only to your own feelings, but to the feelings of others. And this is why cringe content thrives on the internet. It's immediate, digestible, mean, dehumanizing. It invites you to laugh at someone without considering the vulnerability it took to make what they made. And when you spend enough time engaging with people just as content, spectacle, and punchlines, you eventually stop seeing them as people at all. The death of sincerity is the death of empathy by degrees. But when empathy dies, what's left behind? The answer is cruelty. Cruelty is emotionally efficient. It can be performed without risking sincerity or inviting embarrassment. And culturally, cruelty becomes the clearest, most straightforward way to express power and assert control in a landscape where vulnerability is punished. And that's exactly what we've seen unfold across social media and political culture over the past decade. The culture of mockery and detachment didn't just stay in the realm of Minecraft parodies and cringe compilations, it grew into something far greater and far worse. It became the dominant affect of online reactionary movements, from the alt-right to edgelord meme pages to right-wing influencers who built entire careers on irony and cruelty. This is why so much of modern reactionary politics is drenched in the language of irony and mockery. The rise of owning the libs, of ironic racism and misogyny, of nihilistic meme subcultures, all of it isn't coincidental. It grows out of the same cultural soil as cringe culture. The posture is the same. Don't care, don't feel, mock those who do. Any gesture toward compassion, justice, or vulnerability is met with sarcasm, bad faith irony, or outright dismissal. And this brings us to the real cost at the end of this chain. When irony becomes the only way to engage with culture, when sincerity is systematically dismantled and replaced with performance and cruelty, we lose more than just the ability to love things openly. We lose our ability to relate to one another honestly. We lose the emotional infrastructure required for community, empathy, and hope. In that absence, what fills the void is exactly what we see today, a media landscape driven by mockery and outrage, a social environment where empathy is cringe and kindness is weakness, a political culture built not on solidarity, but on spite and detachment and dehumanization. So when people are called cringe for opening up their hearts and caring about something or someone, or when every expression of joy, vulnerability, and empathy is portrayed as embarrassing, these aren't just jokes. They shape the conditions under which human connection becomes impossible. They reinforce a world where sincerity feels dangerous and cruelty feels safe. And the Minecraft movie is a reflection of that culture. Okay, no, not really. The Minecraft movie is not a reflection of the alt-right. It's not a manifestation of the political cynicism that runs so much of our world today. The Minecraft movie doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. It's a corporate product designed to be memed, dunked on, ironically enjoyed, and then eventually discarded. It's not a political weapon, but it is a reflection of a culture that rewards mockery, a culture that teaches people that the safest way to exist is through distance, irony, and performance. Everything becomes a joke, a spectacle, and I don't think it's necessarily a problem to make fun of it. It invites ridicule and frankly deserves it. But the conditions that produced it, those do matter. And look, the irony is not lost on me. I've just spent like the better part of an hour giving an academic, overwrought analysis of a corporate Minecraft movie, and in doing so have probably contributed to the exact cringe ecosystem I'm talking about. But that's also kind of the point, right? I mean, this is the world we live in now. A world where even caring too much about how we've stopped caring is its own punchline. Thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate it. There's a ton that I didn't talk about or didn't talk about in a lot of depth, so I'd love to hear in the comments section what your thoughts are about this. I think that this is a cultural conversation that our generation is long overdue to have. Lastly, I just want to say, if there are any young people still watching, allow me to give my advice to you on this topic. I wrote it down. I'm just going to read off of this document. I hope that's okay. So here's my advice. Be cringe. Unapologetically, earnestly, maybe even embarrassingly cringe. Love the things you love openly and without shame. Not because it's cool, but because it's yours. Because the things you care about, the games, the movies, the hobbies, the songs you sang when you were 12, those are the things that make you human. And in a world that is constantly trying to flatten you into a performance, to make you afraid of feeling too much, to convince you that the safest way to exist is through sarcasm and irony and mockery, the most radical, defiant thing you can do is care anyway. It's not cringe to love things. It's not cringe to be excited, vulnerable, or to take things seriously. It's in fact very easy to roll your eyes, shrug your shoulders, close your heart off, and call everything stupid. It's harder, much harder, and much braver to allow yourself to feel something, to connect with something. You will learn more about yourself and about the world when you allow yourself to engage sincerely and to lean into the things that move you instead of worrying about how you will look doing it. And if someone calls you cringe for doing that, that says more about them than it does you. Because calling someone cringe is the cringiest thing you can do.